Peppa's house always seemed like a safe place, warm and cozy, but no one suspected what secrets were hidden in the basement. Peppa plays in her room with toys. Scratching sounds come from under the bed. Something moves in the darkness. Coral Labubu, with burning orange eyes, crawls out from the shadows, fur covered with growths, wide smile showing teeth. Peppa freezes in horror. Coral growths glow with sinister light. The air fills with humming and strange whispers. Labubu reaches out to Peppa. Her eyes change color. Orange glow appears in her pupils, spreading like infection. George enters the room and sees his sister motionless. Peppa turns with empty stare, no longer herself. Coral Labubu hides behind curtain, watching the puppet. Peppa approaches her brother mechanically, like robot. George tries to run away, but Peppa grabs his hand. The touch burns, sparks transfer to skin like electricity. Mummy Pig comes upstairs to call children for dinner, finds them with empty glowing eyes, standing still. Coral Labubu emerges from hiding and looks at Mummy. Growths pulse brighter, radiating hypnotic glow. Family members fall under control one by one. Daddy Pig comes home and finds everyone with glowing eyes. Coral growths appear on captured skin. They spread, turning living beings into collective mind under Labubu's power. Neighbors notice orange glow from windows. Coming closer, they also fall under Labubu's influence immediately. Miss Rabbit, Pedro Pony, and Susie come to visit. See friends with glowing eyes and coral growths. Coral Labubu appears before victims. Smile becomes wider, showing teeth, eyes burning with triumph. Village residents fall under control. Orange glow spreads through settlement like epidemic, unstoppable. Coral growths cover houses, trees, roads. Village transforms into single organism under Labubu's command. Coral Labubu sits on throne of corals. Residents stand around with empty eyes, serving master. Growths connect everyone into network. Thoughts merge into collective mind under ruler's absolute power. Orange glow visible from space. Planet becomes covered with growths. Humanity no longer exists as individuals. Coral Labubu achieved goal. World became single organism where every being is just cell. In New World, there is no individuality, only orange glow and coral growths connecting all. Captain Dog's fire station was always a symbol of safety and protection for everyone. Today, strange orange light pierced through the windows mysteriously. Peppa and Zoe came for an educational tour visit together. The air was hot and smelled strongly of smoke. Danny noticed a strange figure by the fire truck carefully, an orange creature with flames dancing wickedly in its eyes. Labubu slowly turned toward the children menacingly. His orange fur burned without any visible fire around. Candy felt intense heat spreading across her skin. Hands began turning red from the scorching heat. Labubu started making crackling sounds loudly everywhere. The air filled with sparks flying around dangerously. Zoe tried to step toward the exit desperately. Her legs stuck to the increasingly hot floor. Captain Dog searched for fire extinguishers frantically everywhere. He saw only orange flashes and flames everywhere around. Labubu touched the fire equipment gently with paws. Metal began melting from the intense heat immediately. The station walls covered with black soot completely. Everything became unbearably hot around them all. Peppa looked at her hands in growing horror. They glowed with bright orange flames, spreading. Labubu walked between fire trucks calmly and purposefully. Steps left burning footprints behind him permanently. Danny tried desperately to breathe cool air. Lungs filled with scorching heat burning inside. Candy froze in a blazing pose permanently. Body radiated fiery energy continuously without stopping. Labubu stopped before Peppa, smiling wickedly down. Flames in eyes danced with evil intent. Peppa felt the final wave of heat washing. Orange fire swallowed her consciousness completely and forever. The station became a blazing furnace permanently. Children transformed into living torches burning eternally. Labubu sat on fire truck satisfied completely. Fire Empire gained new burning inhabitants today. Parents saw thick smoke from windows outside. Station burned from within, dangerously and uncontrollably. Labubu vanished in brilliant fiery flash. Flames continue burning eternally in darkness. Fire station closed forever now permanently. Peppa Pig's house always seemed safe, warm and cozy. But none suspected what dark secrets hid in the nearby forest. Peppa looks out the window at the dark forest. Something strange flickers between the trees. Mummy Pig calls everyone for breakfast, but Peppa cannot look away from the mysterious forest. George plays with his dinosaur in the living room. The toy suddenly turns by itself. Daddy Pig reads the newspaper at the table. Pages start rustling without wind. Peppa quietly leaves the house through the door. The dark forest beckons with mysterious paths. Susie Sheep comes to visit and rings the doorbell. No one answers. Peppa is gone. A strange black shadow appears between the trees. It moves unnaturally fast through the forest. Peppa walks deeper into the dark forest. Birds suddenly fall silent. It becomes very quiet. Labubu peeks from behind a big old tree. His glowing blue eyes stare intently at Peppa. Peppa turns back, but the path home has vanished. She is lost in the dense forest. Labubu slowly approaches the frightened Peppa. His terrifying smile becomes wider and more frightening. Mummy and Daddy Pig desperately search for Peppa. They call her name, but hear only echo. Grandpa Pig hurries to help in the search. He looks very worried and concerned. Rebecca Rabbit and Pedro Pony join the search. All friends are very worried about Peppa. The forest grows darker and gloomier. Labubu surrounds Peppa from all sides, not letting her escape. The family finds only Peppa's pink dress on a branch. It hangs on the old tree like an ominous sign. Dr. Bear carefully examines the found dress. There are no traces or clues of disappearance on it. Strange sounds are heard in the empty house at night. Someone laughs quietly and eerily in the room. George wakes from a nightmare and sees a silhouette in the window. It's definitely not his sister, Peppa. A mysterious note appears on the kitchen table in the morning. Written in childish handwriting, "I'm playing with a new friend." Mummy Pig cries bitterly, reading the scary note. Daddy Pig hugs his wife tightly for comfort. Children's laughter and voices are heard in the forest depths, but it's not the missing Peppa's laughter at all. Labubu stands menacingly at the edge of the dark forest. George's toy dinosaur is in his furry paws as a trophy. The family never saw their beloved Peppa again, but sometimes at night they hear her voice calling from the forest depths. Madame Gazelle's playgroup was always a place of joy and laughter, but today something changed in the familiar atmosphere. Shadows became longer even though the sun shone brightly. Peppa noticed her shadow moving out of sync with her. George got scared when his shadow began making strange gestures. Susie Sheep tried to step on her shadow but missed. Pedro Pony took off his glasses and wiped them, thinking he was seeing wrong. Madame Gazelle entered the classroom and noticed the children's anxiety. She tried to explain that shadows are just light reflections, but her own shadow suddenly stood up and waved at the children. Everyone froze in horror, watching the impossible spectacle. Children's shadows began separating from their bodies one by one. From the darkest shadow in the classroom corner appeared Blue Labubu. His eyes glowed with blue crosses, piercing through souls. He slowly approached, collecting children's shadows in his paws. Each stolen shadow made him stronger and bigger. Children felt themselves getting weaker with every second. Peppa tried to run away, but moved very slowly without her shadow. George cried, but his tears were colorless and cold. Susie tried to call for help, but her voice sounded muffled. Pedro fell down, his legs no longer obeying his mind's commands. Madame Gazelle tried to protect the children, but her shadow betrayed her. Labubu laughed with sinister laughter, enjoying his collection. He placed all shadows in a dark bag behind his back. Children became like ghosts without their shadows. Shadow Hunter disappeared as suddenly as he appeared. Children remained sitting motionless, deprived of part of their souls. Madame Gazelle couldn't understand what happened to her students. They no longer played, laughed, or dreamed about the future. The sun set, but children's shadows didn't return to them. In the classroom darkness, distant laughter of Labubu could be heard. He was somewhere playing with stolen shadows, creating his theater of horrors. Children remained forever incomplete, waiting for their lost soul parts to return.